Push it to the limit. For those of you who know, you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? I'm talking about pushing it to the limit, just like Tony Montana, okay? That movie, Scarface, has a lot of meaning in the United States. If you've never seen Scarface, I'll give you a little bit of background on it. But there's a scene in that movie where this song starts out called Push It to the Limit. And it's where Tony Montana, he makes it. He fires his boss and he starts to build the wealth machine of what he does. And you guys all know what he does. I don't want to get flagged by YouTube, but if you watch the movie, you'll understand. Okay, he fires his boss and the money starts to roll in. You know, he builds a new partnership with a big businessman and he becomes successful. And he builds the Montana Realty Company. And, you know, at the end of all of it, he gets the girl and buys the tiger, okay? That movie and that scene alone, okay, where, you know, he makes the partnership, it's a meme out there. And where people use that on Twitter and on Facebook, it's when you become successful. It's when you make it. And that is what everyone strives for in the United States. That's why people come here. And that's why that movie is still extremely relevant today. Even the beginning of the movie, when the refugees are coming here from Cuba, they're coming here to push it to the limit, guys. That is what they are coming here for. And that is what all the people of South America come here for. They push it to the limit. You know, they walk through the jungle, ride on trains all the way up through Mexico, to get here to the promised land. And it's still that place that you can fire your boss and take control and take it over. And the way you're gonna get there is, quite frankly, pushing it to the limit. All right, there's a reason why that movie is so popular in pop culture. It's a cult classic. And the funny thing is that Hollywood was extremely critical about that movie because it was so violent back in 1983 when it came out. But that movie has so much in it that is underneath the covers as far as what America is all about. And it's all about pushing it to the limit, guys. It really is. Now, the reason I'm talking about this video, or the reason I've got this topic for this video, is that guess what? I got to do the same thing coming up in my life. All right, my company has a couple new products in the works, and guess what? I'm gonna have to push it to the limit. Or I'm gonna have to hustle and get my sweat on and get my brain thinking again and push it to the limit, okay? Just like Tony Montana, all right? Now, this movie's a favorite movie of mine. I've been watching it for years with my mom and dad since I was a teenager, and that's what got me to this point in my life of success, is pushing it to the limit. I mean, it started with college. 4 years of chemistry and calculus. That wasn't easy. You know, I had to get my brain in the zone and push it. Okay, lots of long hours, late nights, etc., etc. And then I did it with my first job while I was at college, pushing it to the limit non-stop. You know, and then after that, every job that I had beyond that, I always had to ramp up my brain and figure out a new domain, whether it was Pfizer, whether it was the property tax software company I worked for, whether it was the current company I work for today. In my startup, my entrepreneur days, I had to constantly push it to the limit. Okay, working till 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And then I had to do it again with children. Okay, you have to push it to the limit for kids non-stop. And you know, to be honest, it's still happening today. You know, you still got to be on them left and right about how to get them to the next level in their lives. You know, they get to their teenage levels, then they get to their adulthood. You got to keep on them. You cannot stop. And that's what the United States is all about, is pushing it non-stop, being a hustler. You know, the hustle culture that everyone talks about and a lot of people don't like. But that is what the United States is, guys. It is, honestly. Like, you're just gonna have to work hard and push it. I've got other examples where I pushed it. When I was finishing my basement for like 9 months straight, every single day, I went down there, I did all the drywall myself, all the electrical, I did all the flooring. What else was in there? The walls, I built walls. Everything about that construction I did myself, except for the granite countertops. I needed a team of people, and I needed to hire that out, unfortunately. But that's what it is. You gotta keep pushing it in this country, in the United States of America, if you wanna make it, okay? Like Tony Montana did for about, 5 minutes in the movie, and then obviously he got greedy and it all came crumbling down. And that's a big part of the movie too. There's a lot of life lessons with that movie when it comes to greed, when it comes to pushing it, and when it comes to the struggle. People come up from the bottom in the United States and can rise to the top. All right, and that song, Push It to the Limit, if you listen to the lyrics, they talk about the falling down part. Can you keep it? Can you keep the momentum to the top? It's a struggle even, wealthy people have from time to time. They push it too hard and everything comes crumbling down. You can kind of see it a little bit with Elon Musk. He pushed it. He pushed all his enterprise value up to the top and then pushed it into politics. He's kind of crumbling down a little bit. I still believe in the company, but that's what it is. How far can you push it? That's what you need to decide. What is enough for you? Okay. When I've gotten to the point now where I'm 45, I'm thinking to myself, man, how much more do I have to push it? Honestly, every decade, I think you're gonna have to push it to the limit 2 to maybe 3 times. Honestly, every 3 years, you're gonna have to step up, open up your brain, and push it again and again and again. Unfortunately, that's just the reality we live in. It's, excuse me, it's a competitive world out there. People are always trying to outdo their boss. That's the honest truth, or they're gonna try to outdo another company and try to take them out, take market share, steal market share. And the thing is, guys, with AI, there are gonna be individuals pushing it to the limit, and they're gonna build, we're gonna see the first billion-dollar company with one person, a solopreneur, entrepreneur, one employee essentially, that's gonna push it to the limit, build all this infrastructure, and destroy lots of other companies. Because guess what? They're not pushing it. They're lazy and they don't want to use their brains anymore. The thing about it is, when you push it, like for instance, let's say you build a piece of software for, let's say 2 years, and it becomes successful, guess what? You get lazy, you get complacent, and you think, excuse me, and you think, man, how long can I just ride this wave out? Maybe it's 8 years, maybe it's 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. And that's what most people do in their jobs. They become successful because they push it for a few years and then they ride the wave. But the problem is that technology moves so fast that you cannot become complacent. We're gonna have to push it even more and more to sustain a certain lifestyle or a certain income, because there's always a competitor waiting to come up. There's always a Tony Montana ready to fire his boss or ready to compete with you and take your market share, right? Now, sometimes they fall and crumble, like I said, but sometimes they can maintain it for a very long time. And you, excuse me, man. And you gotta be able to maintain that in your life, all right? You gotta be able to maintain that mental composure to figure it out, to be competitive. And you know what? Hey, I love playing that song, man. I will play that song on my Spotify when I am motivated and ready to push it. I'm doing it on this YouTube channel, guys. I'm still going strong. I'm still gonna push video after video, day after day, and I'm pushing it to the limit. I got that jingle in my head, and you gotta figure out what your jingle is or your vibe music that's gonna get you to the next level. That's what this channel is all about, and that's what I'm telling my children. You gotta figure out what motivates you. Maybe it's my voice, my tone, my intonation, my push, for you. So I don't know, you know, I'm just fired up. And I'm excited, honestly. Like, my company's got these new products in the works, in the pipeline, and I'm gonna set them all up. I can't really demo it because it's new products, but I'm gonna set up a whole new rack. I'm gonna get a rack of all the gear. I'm gonna get a quad monitor layout. I'm gonna push it, man. I'm gonna push this API to its limits, and I'm gonna make this product a success, because you know what? My company has been very good to me over the years. I complain about it all the time. Don't get me wrong, I'm just like every other employee, you know, whining and moaning about your company and its vision and all that. But, you know, I'm looking forward to what they got, and I'm gonna push it. Honestly, I'm gonna get this thing out, and then guess what? Maybe I'll coast a little bit. Who knows, you know? But every so often, you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to push it to the limit, you know, keep on trucking, and just make things happen, guys. If you want to be successful, at least in the United States. I don't know about other places, but that, I'll tell you what, that song and that scene, okay, it's like in the middle of the movie, should be the theme of the United States, because it literally is. If you've ever been down to Florida, all right, my grandma used to live in Naples, Florida, and man, it's just crazy, the sizes and the money that's on the coastline. Unbelievable. And who knows what those people did, but I guarantee you, whether it was inherited or at some point in their family, there were people that were pushing it to the limit. Okay, they were just non-stop workaholics. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there who hate workaholics and who hate people who work hard, but that's what it is, guys. Like, we're here on this planet one time. You know, just work it out to what you want to do. You know, I love working, you know, it's kind of fun, actually. I still love spending time with my family. I do put in the time for my family. But guess what? You know, when your kids are at school all day, you might as well push it to the limit and make it happen. So anyways, hopefully you guys like the content, like and subscribe if you do, and take a look at my previous video. And hopefully you guys are knocking it out of the park. So see you guys. Bye.